It is Wednesday evening once again, and of course, that means it's Auburn Family Night, the best night of the week here at E2C Network, the Auburn Experience. We're going to get into anything and everything Auburn related within Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. All that coming up, your comments, your questions, and of course, your calls. Let's get into it right now. War Eagle, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, the Auburn Experience. As we said at the start of the show, it's Wednesday night. It is time for us to get together as an Auburn family. What do we do on Wednesday nights? Well, we make it all about you, the Auburn family, and more specifically, as we like to refer to you as our little family within the Auburn family, the E2C Network family. Tonight, we will discuss anything and everything based off of what you want to discuss within the Auburn experience. A lot of that is going to be focused on sports, I'm sure, and Auburn football. And we will get into all of those different things here shortly. What I'd love for you to do to start off the stream, we ask you to do this anytime we're live. Smash the like button, especially if you're someone who's been here for a while and you like this type of content. It is a humongous help. I know it seems silly, but smashing that like button. And if you've just for the first time here and you've never done that before, and if you feel like we've earned it, we'd love for you to smash that like button. Subscribe, follow, all those good things as well. You can also participate tonight. Let us know that you're here. Start off in the chat by letting us know where you're watching from with a War Eagle. You could also participate tonight by taking advantage of our call-in link, which is now available on YouTube exclusively. You will have to be on YouTube to access it. All you need to do is click it, and it can give you the choice to be on camera or off camera. It can just be your voice like a phone call. Just put a little blank screen up there next to me as opposed to a face. But we'd love for some of you to take advantage of it. We have so many of our regular callers that do this, and we love seeing them every week. But some of y'all, come on, be a little brave. Come on out and say hello. Let people get to know you. We're all a family here after all. And of course, if there's any Arkansas fans this week that want to talk, you're open to do that as well. Brought to you by our friends at allthingsauburn.net. Visit them for a place to stay, not just to stay in Auburn and love Levisville Plains, but to have a great Auburn experience, which is what we are all about here, of course. All right, so it is really up to you all where we go, how far we go within this Auburn experience, and what you would like to discuss this particular evening. So don't be shy. Jump in and let us know some of the topics that are forefront of your mind this evening, and we will certainly dive into a bunch of those as we get throughout the show. I'll do what I call setting the table for you all, giving you get the juices flowing, get you thinking about a few things that maybe you might have on your mind. I know a lot of it centralizes around this Auburn and Arkansas game upcoming. It is a humongous week for not just Auburn people, but for Arkansas people as well. SEC play opening up. I don't think it's too hyperbolic to say that this is an opportunity for one to push themselves beyond the lower pack of the SEC, and then I would say like the lower third, and the other one to kind of stay down there for a little while. And again, that's not to be hyperbolic. If you lose this game, you're not out of, being relevant the rest of the year, but it certainly does put yourself far back. But if you win this game, you get off to a good start in conference play, certainly. So all of that can certainly be talked about tonight. I will remind you that tomorrow we are going to do our preview show where we do not only a preview, but we do predictions, not just a score prediction. We're going to predict a lot of different facets that helps you get to a more well-rounded, well-thought-through score prediction for yourself, and of course for myself, and I guess effectively the E2C network as well. So join us tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, same place, YouTube, and we'll broadcast to Facebook as well. But YouTube is definitely the home base of sorts for that type of stuff. Other things are out there. Obviously, we're starting to get a little bit more basketball discussion as they have, put some things out there, some new scheduling things for conference play, stuff like that. Obviously, there's some things there that we can talk about. Soccer and volleyball are full in swing, and they're having great seasons thus far. Just fresh off the high of homecoming week, which I had a great time, even despite the weather. So we certainly could talk about that a lot. If you missed out on any of the content that we put out for you during homecoming week, boy, did you miss out on a lot. That's why we even have this. It's an old picture, but in our cue card for tonight here, you'll see the the band playing at a previous iteration of the homecoming parade through downtown Auburn. And my voice sounds a little bit scratchy tonight, or just not as weak. I've got that. I hope I'm not getting sick. A little bit of a tickle, so I might have to sip on the water a little bit more tonight than I normally would. All right, let's say hello to some folks. Let's see what you all have on your mind this particular evening. Stan and 131, CJ, Cody, Thomas, Devin, all checking in with us. Looks like we've got WTs here as well. People checking in from all across the land, from Alabama to Texas. There and back again. Thank you guys so much for being here. Stan points out this may be the easiest SEC game this year. It might be. There is Vanderbilt out there still, and I know you're probably thinking Vanderbilt showed a little bit of moxie, but they're still Vanderbilt. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here, and they have to play us at our place. Don't feed into the Bama fan thing about the New Mexico State quarterbacks over there and some of their staff. Let's chill out a little bit before we get there. But excuse me, I thought I was about to sneeze. Certainly will be one of the more easy ones when you talk about playing Alabama, Georgia, Missouri, and Kentucky on the road. That is going to be tough. You only at Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas, and then you got Oklahoma as well at home. So it's tough no matter what, how you slice it as well. I'm going to agree with WT here. I did miss hearing from Mr. Thomas last week after the performance or lack thereof, and see what he would have thought about that game. Maybe he'll call in this evening and we can have a well-rounded discussion around him a little bit. All right, let's see here. Apparently I am my nose is itching, all that stuff. Kyle, have you watched our volleyball team yet? I have no idea. I had no idea Kendall Kemp and a Kasha Anderson transferred. I like our new additions. Yeah, I guess I probably wasn't as well informed on that, but they don't seem to be struggling too bad. They've got off to a great start, did lose on the road at Minnesota, but they were a ranked opponent at their place. So yeah, it's not the most shocking thing in all the world. But I wasn't aware of that either. But it is the transfer portal world. We're getting close to basketball season. We are still a little bit of ways to go. I guess we weren't last time we were together. They hadn't announced tip off at Tumors. So that is something that I'd love to hear anybody's perspectives on. If you're excited about that, if you think it's a great idea, tip off at Tumors returns October 17th, which is a Thursday night. I do plan to be there. I don't know in what capacity, as just a bystander in the stands. I'm going to see if they have some type of media situation to go film from a better perspective, so I don't have to compete with the crowds that I know will be assembling because of the concert afterwards. But I personally am very happy that they are trying their best to keep doing this, even if it hasn't been an annual basis. They have taken years off. It is quite the struggle if you have weather doing on a slick court out there. So they found that they can't really have the dunk contest, which frankly, I think kind of is what most people want to see out there. I kind of thought personally it would be a great idea to make it like a 2-day event, especially for situations like these where Auburn folks won't be in Auburn. I mean, the fans for the entire month of October, make a weekend out of it and have your kickoff event that night with a concert like that. Just introduce the team, just make it a fun family feel festival, and then have an open practice scrimmage dunk contest on the courts the next day with, you could get a little bit of a tailgating atmosphere with that. It won't bring the biggest crowds. You may not even fill up the whole arena, but I bet we'd have a pretty good response out of that, especially people wanting to come to Auburn. And I'm sorry, y'all get me on a soapbox here. I would love to see one day the fall sports have some weekends. It can't be every weekend, that turn into almost a tailgate light atmosphere where you have on Friday nights a gymnastics meet, And in my perfect world, men's and women's basketball would be playing on the same day, not necessarily back to back, but at least, within a couple of hours of each other, the same opponent too. I know that there's some people that have very strong feelings about that type of concept, but I think it would build towards something pretty special if they were able to do that. You couple that with like certain parts of the year, equestrian will be in season. You could have a really fun Auburn weekend, not to level of football tailgating, but I bet you some people would show up if they knew. If you project the game outside a little bit, for those who can't get a ticket inside, you'll have some fun times. Let's see. What are we? One of the reasons I love AFN so much, the flagship show has these two blowhards who try to sound like they know what they're talking about. Yeah, whatever. That's fine, WT. I can send you off into what I call the ether. Block you. I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that to you. Rugerell, what's going on, sir? War Eagle. All right. Do they broadcast tip off at Tumors? Typically, I don't think they have, because it's not really an event that's set up for TV in my mind. Maybe they broadcast parts of it before. I'm trying to remember, because I think, what's his name, the basketball analyst, not Andy Katz. God, what's his name? He's on college basketball, college game day version. Good friends with Bruce. Anyway, I don't know. I can't remember for sure if they've done that, but it'd be good for some Auburn fans to see it. But I truly think that if they would make a weekend out of this, that it would be a much bigger success as opposed to doing it on a Thursday night. There are reasons why they have to do it on a Thursday night because of that area over there. But I wish these are the things that I wish. Let's see here. I want to share with you guys this news. Maybe some of you already know this, maybe not, but since we're a family, I'll share. DK is a silent commit. I've also heard some of those things, but I really, personally, I don't really get all invested in silent commits or anybody that hasn't officially committed yet. Especially if it's a silent commit, somebody will certainly that will take care of itself in time. We'll see. We'll see if you end up being right. And I hope you are, because I know a lot of people will be very, very happy with that. Cody says, I will be at the Student Center this weekend for Arkansas Auburn. Let's finish those hogs off. Send them back to Arkansas with the worst start to SEC. Are you working the Student Center this weekend? Is that what you're saying, or something like that? I usually stop by the Student Center and especially when it's warmer out, which I do think it's trending that way, that it's going to get warmer and warmer for game day. So I will have to find some refuge from all of that in the future. Yeah, Rodney, what's going on, man? Why are you on? I guess this is your wife's YouTube handle. Did you lose yours or something like that, or just change the name over to it? It's throwing me off, man. I think I can remember it mostly, but there's going to come a time when I call you Wendy, because that's what's there. But I remember you bringing up that you were on this one for some reason last time. Just watching the game there. Oh, so okay. So no tickets. Well, maybe you can find a couple of tickets for not too bad a price. You never know. Tell you what you're not getting a ticket to is Oklahoma. If you don't have a ticket for that already, you are out of luck, my friend. You are out of luck. It's going to be interesting. Okay, I see the reasoning why. Okay, well, I hope that gets sorted out and whatever. We're just glad you're here, even if it is as your other persona, Wendy Williamson. Thank you for being here regardless. All right. We bounced around to a lot of things out there. Stan says, I hate ads. Well, Stan, I'm going to use what you said here. You're going to give me an opportunity to not get on the soapbox a little bit, but just kind of a reality check with a lot of you. We have to have the ads because we have to make money to continue to do what we do. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just be honest with a lot of you. Especially what we do here, the live streams, our expenses to continue to do it the way that we do it are about to go up by about What's the percentage? It would be almost triple what we are currently spending for it. So unfortunately, those ads will not go away. I'm sorry. And if you are interested in helping keep the lights on here at E2C Network, good way to do that is by joining the Conquer Club. Links, you can follow the link in the description to that one link that'll take you everywhere. And of course, you could also just join here what I call Conquer Club Light at YouTube, Conquer Club Light at YouTube, where you can just sign up for $1 a month and it helps fund all the things there. You've never had an ad on any of the E2C shows? Well, that is weird. That is very weird. Very, very weird. And you don't have to like them, but I just wanted to explain that. And you gave me the opportunity to kind of open up about that. Yeah, I got the word last week that not to bore you guys. I know we want to talk about Auburn stuff, but the system that I use to broadcast from here, it's tripling in price essentially. And oh yeah, so there you go. YouTube Premium is ad free. If you're interested in that, or you can throw that. I'm just kidding. I'd love a day where I didn't have to run ads, but we are far, far, far away from that. All right. What Auburn related stuff is on y'all's minds? What things do you want to get into tonight? We'd love to have some of you guys call in as well. So don't be shy. Let me know what's going on, in your minds, what you're focused on. We've talked volleyball, basketball, tailgating, and football already. So we've definitely stuck to our name tonight of talking about anything and everything Auburn related that is out there. While you guys are thinking about some of the things, I'll give you a kind of a heads up about what may or may not be happening here. I am planning. I'm going to be in Auburn again this weekend. I know, shocker. To cover as we typically would, but it is, I'd say it's going to happen, but I have a feeling it's not going to happen the way exactly I'm planning out in my head. But I mean, I will be in Auburn for about a week and a half, believe it or not. An opportunity has presented itself where it makes sense for me to stay. So we might be doing some special things this week, doing some new things. Some of those things you may never see until later on. But I would tell you this, if you are a fan of the Sunday night Auburn Experience, the flagship show, you might want to be ready for it to go live a little bit earlier, somewhere different. And I'm not talking about Austin's room because we've done it there before. So we're working on it. We're trying. It's something that we wanted to do. So I'm excited. I'm going to miss my lovely wife, Jessica. She is being gracious enough to let me try this, and the individuals who let me stay at their place while they're going to be gone. So I won't bother them. But I plan to be in Auburn for a week and a half. That means the next 2 game weekends to round out the 5-game homestand. It is going to be a good time. Our regular content should be there just from, you'll see me broadcasting from different locations. But I think Austin and I are going to have some fun on Sunday. So be looking for that. 313, giving a shout out to one of our former Auburn Tigers, Carlton Davis, playing good for my Lions. But did you have any doubts? I mean, he was acquired by the Lions from Tampa Bay for a reason. I just hate that we don't have these teams consolidating our defensive backs together like Tampa Bay did that. Now Seattle is starting to do that, and defensive players in general, because they got 2 of our defensive backs that the Seahawks did, and they have Derek Hall. So that's a good start. And a long time ago, they had Benjamin Obumana too. So they know the value of an Auburn player. But I guess it's great to see Auburn love spread across the league. So you can't really get too upset about that. But I'm glad that he is doing well for them overall. He said, let's give it up to Kyle. He's going to couch surf in order to bring more content. It's not the furthest thing from the truth, WT. I hope that I probably won't be on the couch for the whole week, but I will tell you that the couch I've normally slept on when I go to Auburn, it's pretty comfortable, so I wouldn't be opposed to that. Unbeaten Lake says, of course, our first SEC game, we have to play Bobby Petrino, who has given our defenses so many problems in the past. The other thing about that is he's given lots of people problems, so it's not just an Auburn thing. And he has it, we've beaten him before, so I'm just glad that the whole hire Bobby Petrino craze that just never would die has finally died. And that was a thing at Auburn forever. Every year there was a group that tried to get that going, whether it was against Tommy Tuberville or Gene or Gus or whatever. It just, oh man, bullet dodged in my opinion. All right, let's get our first caller in tonight and let's say hello to him. We missed him last week, one of the good ones. There he is. What's going on, sir? Mr. Comet.
Warrior, y'all, what's up?
We missed you, buddy. Where were you?
Busy, just busy. Work and music is a hard life. Let me tell you.
So you weren't hiding after the embarrassing loss to Cal.
Oh no. I show up to work the next day after a loss with the same Auburn gear on.
That's like right.
It is what it is.
It's how that's supposed to be. I missed a couple of things that we normally do at the beginning of the week. And some of the Bama fans like, oh, you're not doing content this week. I was like, buddy, if you knew what I was dealing with and why I missed those, you'd feel real bad about what you're saying. So it's not all about football sometimes, but yeah. I figured you were busy. We did miss hearing your perspectives though about where you're at because it was tough, wasn't it?
Hey, if you want the perspective, I got it right here.
All right, let's go. Come on,
notebook.
Let's hit it. Tell me, talk to me. What's been going on with you since we last talked?
All right, let's just touch on the Cal game. It was awful. Every prediction we made was completely wrong. We never even showed up. I don't think our dudes ever got out of bed that Saturday morning. I really don't. Like, I'd say if you got to break it down to why we lost, I'd say 50% quarterback play, 25% blocking, and 25% the game plan was not where it needed to be, especially the defensive side.
So offense.
It takes another 25% to make 100, so the defense didn't pull their weight neither. It was awful having our DBs, and I think they're getting better, but not having their head turned around, not being in the right spot, just overall did not look good from the get-go.
Right.
Some of the people I talked to that were on campus said it just didn't feel good. It didn't feel like Auburn was ready to play. Just everything kind of felt down, and that's how it was at New Mexico State, and I was there last year. It just didn't feel good on campus. So I don't know if that had a part to play at all or anything to do with it, but we did not play well. And we got our rear ends handed to us, and rightfully so. If you don't play good, you're not going to win the ball game unless you're just that much better than somebody else, and we weren't. Yeah. So hats off to Cal.
Yep.
They drug us right through the mud, and they won the ball game. And
I think
they had it won in the first half, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, the way things were trending, you're right. And they took control of the game and really didn't give us there were opportunities that were given to us. I mean, we had several shots at it, but they put themselves in a position on the road. I heard someone say this, and they were talking, it's not really that related, but they were describing like when an FCS team or a lower mid-major conference team comes into a major power. They said, you're really not walking in there with the perspective that you're going to win. What you're looking for is an opportunity. You're looking to place yourself in a position that if this oblong ball bounces the correct way or the opposite way it should, that it bounces in your favor. And then when it does, you've made yourself in that position. So I would use that a little bit to describe what Cal did. I think they walked into an environment that was very challenging, but did a lot of the little things right that they needed to do, and then found themselves in an opportunity where we hadn't seized the opportunity, and the ball bounced their way.
I think that if I was playing football for Cal and I was watching our game against Alabama A&M versus last year's film, I think they came in there knowing that they could win that ball game without a doubt in their mind. I think they walked into that stadium going, we've played Peyton Thorne before. We've dealt with some of these receivers, some of these players, but we know what their strengths are and what they've tried to replace. So just attack it. They took away pretty much all the intermediate throws. We kept trying to push it down the field, And at that point, you've got to run the ball if you can't pass short. So what do you do with Jarquez Hunter? You hit him in the legs.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to tackle him up top. It's difficult to tackle a man like that. The way he's built and the way he runs, you can't hit him up top and expect to just take him down unless you can overpower him, which we saw on the fumble. He got overpowered. It was a tackle high up top in the chest, in the cloth,
and then
they held him up and then took the ball away from him.
Yep.
They watched their film, and I don't like it at all. But Cal came in there with a game plan, and they beat us handily. They beat us fair and square.
Yep. They did. Credit goes to them. All right, let's talk about New Mexico. What you liked out of what you saw, because a much better day. I think you got to keep it in perspective about what was in Mexico. But what'd you think?
I think that our defense has some glaring issues that they're going to work to clean up very quickly. I think that New Mexico had a great game plan. I think the rain helped us out. I really do. I think it slowed them down because towards the beginning of that ball game, they had a wide open door to do pretty much whatever they wanted to do offensively. On the other side of that coin, us offensively with a new quarterback, and I'm not mad that Thorne got benched, but I am happy to see a coaching staff have the wherewithal to say, hey, look, we watched the film on Sunday after church. We studied it, and Hugh Freeze said he knew Monday after watching that film and talking with the coaches that a change needed to be made, and they made the change. And guess what happened? Guess what happened?
It got better.
He graded out as the highest quarterback that week. I think it was 89.5.
Did you see I don't know when it was, if it was the Monday press conference of that week or if maybe it was the SEC teleconference. I don't know. But there was something he said during that week. He said he sat down with both quarterbacks and had them basically explain to me these, I think it was like 6 plays that were the biggest problems, what didn't work or what should have happened here. And not that it was interesting to me that he even said, we haven't done something like that before with like both options, and it opened his eyes up to how people saw the world and how they saw it just kind of opened his eyes to his quarterback options. And so I think in light of that, to me, what that tells me is that opened his eyes up to maybe where Peyton is struggling. And that's why he made the swap, because he said Monday, like you said, was the decision he made.
We talking about practice? Because he said Peyton Thorne makes every read correctly in practice, but it's not translating to the games.
Right.
So he's not the guy that we need leading the team right now.
Yep.
I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not gonna fart all over him at all. But a change was needed, and I think they made the correct move in having Hank Brown come in, because I don't dislike Holden Gerner either, but I think Hank Brown is the clear choice moving forward. He's already been announced as a starter for the Arkansas game.
Yep.
One of the receivers said he has the best ball placement. It's in my hands every time. Why would you not want that guy running the offense?
Sure.
So I think it's good for us. We had adversity really early on in the season, game 2. We also had some guys hurt from game 1, so we had big adversity in game 2. And Hank Brown walked right in there the other night. He stepped into those big shoes, and he went out there and completed passes to 10 different receivers. 10. That's a bunch of phalanges here.
That's a bunch of phalanges.
That's 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers. 4 different receivers had a touchdown.
I'm sorry, I'm still on phalanges. I have not heard it described that way before. So go ahead. I'll stop it. I'll stop interrupting you.
But I mean, like he went out there and he handled his business like a starting college quarterback should, especially for a program like Auburn.
Yeah.
So he's had great tutelage. He played for, I think it was Trent Dilford. He played for in high school. The coach at UAB now,
Lipscomb Academy.
And he had great things to say about him. And a lot of people have been telling, through the grapevine, over the internet, since he's been there, that he's a gamer. He's a dude, and we got to see it. So he played great the other night. Arkansas is going to be a different kind of test. They're averaging, I think they let up about 2.2 yards a carry, 2.3, somewhere in there. But their secondary is about as Swiss cheese as ours is right now. So I would expect us to open up the running game as much as we can and integrate some passes out of the backfield, which is technically a run. If we can't run up the middle, let's run outside, and let's run way outside. And their secondary struggles to tackle too.
Yeah.
Go back and watch that UAB game. It was awful. They struggled to tackle real bad. So Arkansas is a completely winnable game for us.
Yeah.
Just depends on how bad do we want it, and can we walk in there and hit somebody in the daggum mouth?
I like what you said about where you might utilize the passing in this game. You know who popped in my head when you said something like that?
Mr. Cobb.
Malcolm Simmons, but as a runner, as they did on what should have been a touchdown likely for him. I think they said he stepped out. I like that. And, with them this week talking about how much they want to get him a package or something, get him in the game more, even if it's not as a true wide receiver. That might fall right within what you're talking about. It almost reminds me a little bit of an Elijah Stove, who was a wide receiver, but he was utilized as much more. And that's why the phrase was the stove is hot. You just give it to him and see what he can do with it. So you could make the same case with like an Anthony Schwartz, even though he's a true wide receiver, but he was a little bit on the undersized. You just get him the ball and see what he can do with it with that speed. So yeah, that's probably a good thought. And I wonder if that's not how he will be implemented. What I'd love to maybe round out our talk about is I would like to hear your perspectives of offensive line over the last couple of games, where you think we are. Is it improving? Is it same? Is it bad? What do you think?
Our first game of the year, I would say against Alabama A&M, they were playing the JV defensive line, and they looked okay. Mm-hmm. They really did look okay. I'm not gonna harp on them too much. Right. Against Cal, it really reminded me of Texas A&M last year.
Yeah.
We were down a couple of guys, some people shifted positions, but I think that this last game against New Mexico, I think they shined. I think they did really well, especially with the shuffling and the backups that were coming into play. I really was excited to see Braden Joyner hit the field. He's an Auburn kid, played at Auburn High, and like Hugh Freeze said, he loves to play for Auburn. Yep. It's not about the NIL. He just loves to play for Auburn.
Yep.
That's the kind of dudes that are going to get that dirty work done. So I think we'll see him a lot more in the future, especially if we get somebody with a lingering ankle or an elbow, a shoulder, some small little injury that they could play through. I think Joyner's going to get those reps, and I'm glad because he needs reps. Because in the next year or so, he's going to need to come in there and be a starter for us.
Yep. I'm glad that.
Yep. Out there too.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're starting to get some of these younger guys a few more reps because, they're the future, and we need them to start kind of getting ready because all these transfers are about to be gone. So
yeah. We're going to be depleted again, or I'll use that term, depleted again on the offensive line after this year. So we got to have guys that have game reps who can come in and step up. And I'll tell you, you were talking about Simmons, and you mentioned Stove, and you mentioned Schwartz. What about a package where he can kind of come in and do some Ontario McCaleb type things?
Yeah.
He's got speed.
Yeah. There's several names that you could throw out there of people that kind of fall into that category of they are what they are. Ontario was a running back, Stove was a wide receiver, but they're guys that you just want the ball in their hands to just see what they can do with it. Just find a way to give them the ball, a little bit of open space, and it could be a cloud of dust. Corey Grant, same way. I mean, he was a traditional running back, but we flipped that ball out to him there on a wheel route and tail lights, as Rod Bramblett would call him. So,
and we took him from Bama.
That's pretty sweet too. And how about another shout out? How about Antonio Kite getting his interception in this game? And all the Bama players, all the Bama fans are like, "Oh, we didn't want him anyway." I'm like, "Okay, all right, that's fine with me."
All right. Bet you wanted him in about the third quarter of the USF game, didn't you, boy?
Yeah, that was there's been not too much humbling going on, but there's been a little bit of that having to have a few struggles outside of having Daddy Saban there. Anyway, do you want to give a early prediction on the Arkansas game to round out?
No, I got to watch more film tomorrow when I get a chance to. I don't have enough in me on the Arkansas game yet.
All right. Well, hope we see you tomorrow at some if you're available on the preview or the preview and prediction show. We'll definitely give ours then. But good to hear from you, and we missed you, and we'll hopefully talk to you again next week.
Sounds great. War Eagle, y'all. Hank might just be the answer.
He might. War Eagle. All right, that was our good friend, Mr. Thomas. Always great perspectives from him and hear his thoughts on everything but the offensive line play, I know a lot of us like to hear his thoughts. So you guys can join in too. Please do hit that call-in link here on YouTube. There are several of you watching on YouTube right now, and you've never clicked the link. Why is it? Are you scared? I do get the nervousness that comes with like putting your face or your voice out there. So trust me, I get it, but don't be shy. We're all family here. Calling in, just to test it out and say hi. All right, let's see here. We had a couple other people checking in with us a little late, but good to see you guys here. We started 8 o'clock, but hey, whatever. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you guys. Let's see here. Cody, one of my thoughts on Alabama in Georgia earlier in the stream. Cody, I always say it this way. I'm not too concerned about other people's games. Obviously, I know that's a very important game for college football, and but to me, there's no winning in this game whatsoever. So I'll be honest with you. I'll check in on it, but I probably won't even be watching it. I don't want to see either one of my rivals have success, and one of them will have success that night. In the best thing that could happen is if they have a 3-2 game and Georgia wins. Like that's the that's the best thing that could happen. Yes, I am calling people out for being late. The difference is I have technical issues sometimes that keep me from coming in late, or a co-host that is putting to bed twins. So that's what's usually going on. I can't tell you guys how many times that you will set this thing up. The way the lighting, the broadcast, all that stuff, have a monitor over here so I can monitor things, and you have it all ready to go. And then you go to hit that live button and one thing shuts down, and sometimes it's a whole, you have to set the whole cycle back up again. Gotta love technology. You gotta love it. I know, and I only would throw shade at Dalton because he's been here long enough. He can take it. He can. All right. We are at 8:36. Still plenty of time left. What else do you guys want to discuss in the Auburn space tonight? Unbeaten Lake says we have 11 touchdown passes in 3 games. It's beautiful. So what? 3 points. I'm doing math in my head right now. It's embarrassing. 3.7 per game touchdowns. It's pretty good. 4 in the 6 right in the first game. No. Doing math in my head now. Wasn't it 6 in the first game, 4 in the, and then 1? Yeah. Okay. I got it now. 11 pass touchdowns in 3 games, but it shows you how far we've fallen in the pass game for how rough things are and what we get happy about these days in regards to things. There was a comment earlier that I wanted to address. Where did it go? CJ asked, how do you think this power stripe look is going to turn out on Saturday in the stadium? The problem is that student section, and that's not a shot at our student section. It's just the way it is done. It is a free for all in the majority of the student seating, and to get them to how about this? When I was a student, most everybody knew what seats they were fighting for, and who was probably going to get what by the 4th game. But you still don't. The best way this can be pulled off is if whoever it is, student affairs, whatever, wants to donate a bunch of, just standard navy, and I think those are the 2 sections, and white t-shirts, or maybe all 3, to whatever section it's going to be. That is the best way to pull this off. The fans will do it to some degree. I don't know that this one's going to go off as well as they probably hope. But I think it will show up somewhat on in person, but on the TV as well. I hope it does, because it is a cool little concept. Not a lot of teams have the power stripe. It would be cool to see it work out. I wouldn't get your hopes up. I've seen us work on that before, and it's been tough. David got his Purdue Auburn tickets. I meant to say this, David, and I should have checked on this earlier. Auburn, Purdue, SeatGeek. Anytime you guys are buying tickets, I do ask you guys to consider at least trying to buy them there and using our code E2C Network. I don't think that they are available on SeatGeek right now, because it was the early purchasing for that basketball game. Let me see here. I want to see what is and isn't available yet. I think they go on sale to the general public, meaning across all things on Friday. Oh, nope, they're there. Okay. So they are online now for $37 in Legacy Arena in Birmingham. Well, in the future, if you want to use our code E2C Network, you get $20 off your first time purchase. If you've ever done it before, make a new email. You can get that $20 off. We get a little bit of kickback to it. Ticketmaster, which is obviously you buy it wherever you need to, and that's where they promoted it from originally. But SeatGeek is that official partner of Auburn, and we became an affiliate when they did that. So that's a way that you can help support us without spending any extra money than you were going to on a ticket. It gets you a little bit of a kickback too. Let's see here. I think giving out t-shirts is a good idea. I do as well, but that's a lot of t-shirts. It's a lot of t-shirts. And you have to remember, they expanded again the seats into the upper deck, and those don't stay open, or they don't stay full a lot, which I think means they'll probably stop doing that again or decrease the number. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Hopes are high once again, 11-1. I'm ready to be hurt again. Dalton, don't do that to yourself, buddy. Don't do it to yourself. That's tough, man. Did anyone else see the video of Hank by himself on the practice field working? Well, I would too if I've won that job. I wouldn't let anybody see me not doing the right things, and I'm sure he did those things beforehand. So I'm not sure which one you're referring to, but he knows. I think Hank recognizes the magnitude of this Arkansas game for what it means, just in general, but in comparisons to him and Thorne, because what you will have then after his performance in this game is a body of work where both have played a bad opponent defensively, at least, and a better opponent defensively. And then you can definitely make some very strong assumptions about who is best going forward. It's not a complete thing, but it is something where you can make a very, very strong assumption going forward. We enjoy SeatGeek as well. It's pretty easy to work with. I have personally sold a ticket last year that I wasn't able to use because we had a family emergency of sorts. And it was very simple. I got it sold within like 30 minutes of it being up there, and paid in 30 minutes. It was pretty wild. And that's as selling one too. It was on Eugene's Instagram. I'm on Instagram less and less these days, I find myself. Although we are starting to grow a little bit faster on there. So you never know. You might see me on there a little bit more. Stan still feels about 8-4, 7-5. I think those are probably the wise choices, Dalton, of where you should probably put your expectations in. I predicted 8-4 to start the season. It's going to be a tall task to reach that now with the Cal loss we weren't anticipating. But, if Auburn can win this game Saturday and pulls off what would be an upset at this point over Oklahoma at home, they're positioned well to maybe surprise again on the road. And then you're sitting back in the saddle where you go, I got Vanderbilt, I got Lamo at home. Texas A&M doesn't look, completely solid yet. So there's a lot on the table for Auburn record-wise potential. This is an important one, though. This is an important one. From the Wee Pig Sueys. What if Cal is just having the best season they've had in years? And that is highly possible, Unbeaten Lake. It is highly, well, I shouldn't say highly likely. It is a probable reason for why that happened. It's also fair to say we just didn't play well. And that's a we, not just an individual thing for any one player. We did not play well. They didn't coach well. I think the entire team would echo that sentiment. We did not perform well in that game. But it also can be true that Cal has a better season. I would say this. I haven't looked at just since we're talking about it, and it is going to be a factor on the rest of the season. Let me look up Cal football schedule, and believe me, when I look and see all these ACC teams, it is going to throw me for an absolute loop. I believe it's Florida State next. That's got a high probability of them winning the way they're playing. They'll probably lose it just because that'll be our luck. But if they beat Florida State, they're not going to beat Miami. Let's just be honest. Even though you've got Miami going to Berkeley, folks, in the ACC. Make that make sense to me. I know this isn't Auburn related directly, but I said we're going to do it just for the argument of we need to see how Cal is going to do. Pitt's a winnable game. NC State's a very winnable game. Oregon State is, I would assume it's winnable. Wake is winnable. Syracuse is winnable. Stanford's winnable. SMU's winnable. So I really see only one surefire loss the rest of their season. And that's that Miami game, and that's at their place. So, yeah, they could have an amazing season and just make us all look a lot better. Let's see here. My wife, a UGA grad, refused to wear a poncho on Saturday because it had an Auburn logo on it. Quite funny watching her sit and pout in the pouring rain. That's what she gets. Sorry. That's what she gets. Listen, if I needed something that bad, I might even wear it. But if it was an Alabama thing, I might be like right there alongside her. And it's a choice, right? It's a choice. That what I'm surprised by is the rate at which that rain came down. Even though as the day went on, it would look less and less likely like we were going to get that rainstorm during the game. You should have just known with the conditions of a hurricane coming through. It's just so unpredictable. So I'm not shocked that we got rain, but it was the intensity and ferocity with which it came down. I am so lucky that I just on a whim decided, because I wanted to film the homecoming court presentation for Homecoming Queen, but also the alumni band show. And I knew it would show up better from the lower bowl because they're not going to be doing formations and stuff like that. That I just happened to go find a friend sitting up at the very top of the upper bowl or the lower bowl and under the overhang. And so I was fine. Everybody else was scrambling. He had an extra seat next to him that wasn't being used. And I was sitting pretty good with great seats for the whole game. WT says this defense reminds me of the Kevin Steele years. Crap the bed in the first half, adjust, and be really good in the second half. Well, they did that in one game. Haven't done that in all of them. But listen, if the descriptor we can have of a Kevin Steele defense, that I'll take that, because that, like you said, that does mean you tend to adjust well and lock something down. I think if I wanted to point to the hallmark of a Kevin Steele defense in his time here at Auburn, was what they accomplished against Joe Burrow and LSU in Baton Rouge. No other team, I believe, that whole year was able to control and keep at bay that LSU offense other than Auburn, and being coached by Kevin Steele and his staff. So if you ever need respect for that man, you need to think about that game. He did some strong work to stop that offense, those players in their home place, and to give a first-year quarterback, Bo Nix, in an Auburn offense that was very inconsistent that year, the best opportunity to do what they could do, and they were very close to pulling off something quite special. He kept a distance. I think that's funny. When is the last time we had a top 25 pass defense? It was probably when Tubbs was head coach. I don't know. I mean, like, this seems like this something you need to probably research before assuming that it hasn't been, because Auburn has had it's been known as DBU for a while here, the amount of defensive backs we've been sending to the league. So maybe, and that's only an argument for individuals, but I would bet we've had pretty good pass defense over the past several years. In fact, I would say it's probably one of our strongest points. And not saying that strongest point is that strong, but it's strongest points of what we have on that defense the last couple of years. Stan says, I don't get dropping your rush guys in coverage. Let me start by saying this. Every week I can tell where and I'm not assuming Stan has been to these same places, but I just know when people have gone to their go-to content person or group for Auburn stuff, and I get that I'm probably not a lot of people's first choice because I'm not the analytical type and stuff like that. But there's a narrative that's said there and then regurgitated on message boards and on social media, and then everybody's repeating it over and over again. I think this is a little bit overblown, to be honest with you, this whole dropping your rush guys and coverage thing. They did what they thought was best based on what they saw on the tape. It clearly wasn't working, and the adjustments they made were better, but it wasn't that outstanding. But it's just one game. And I think I personally just don't, I'm not on board on getting on these echo chambers of regurgitating the same things because one group or one person said it over and over again. And I think it's just, that's one of those conversations pieces this week that just I'm kind of bored with, to be honest with you. I don't think they'll do that again, or if they do that again, it'll do it a different way. I don't see us having 3 down linemen on defense against Archie. Got to keep Green in the pocket and make him throw. They have a big running back that can wear us down if he gets going. Yeah, and I talked about it this way, Thomas, too. When I was asked on what show was it? Oh, it was the Voice of College Football this week. I made an appearance on his show. That the view for me for Auburn's defense to have success is to think about containing the run game, including Taylor Green, but not letting them get their passing game going, because it's the one area that's probably weaker for us as far as we can tell on defense so far. And it's the area that they're not expected to do anything. So let's not let that become a problem to increase the likelihood of them having success on offense. Thomas, thank you so much for that. Buckle that chin strap up. Play SEC ball. Appreciate your service for help keeping the lights on here at E2C Network. Tackling was definitely not good. Need to wrap up. Hold down. I've seen very big wafts of whether the tackling was good or not. There's been some guys that I thought made some just outstanding open field form tackles, and others that have just had the easiest tackle ever to make and just whiffed it. Very inconsistent, but I think you'll have that when you have young players. What we can't have happen is our veterans doing it, whether we're talking about tackling or fumbles. Can't have that whatsoever from your upperclassmen. They know it. I'm not saying anything they haven't said to themselves. We cannot have our upperclassmen, senior leaders, fumbling the ball multiple times. Cannot happen. Oh, you guys, you say I'm the only one you watch. Well, that is an honor, and I'm sad for you. But thank you for your patronage here. Our turnover differential is awful so far this year. So what was it? It was 4 fumbles in the first game. 2 of them were lost, or was that last game? The 4 interceptions in that game. And so there were 4 interceptions, the fumble by Jarquez in game 2. I think there were 4 fumbles, 2 of them lost in this last game. Somebody needs to look that up for me. Like, what's the total turnover differential? You're right, Thomas. I'm sure it's horrible. How do you think Auburn hoops giving game against Ohio State will go? Kevin, buddy, I just noticed Kevin was in the chat room and I didn't see him there. So Kevin, if you're still watching, please do call back, man. I am so sorry. I realized a second ago that you called in and I was going to bring you in, and then I just lost track of that you were down there. So Kevin, buddy, sorry about that. If you're watching, please do call back in. So about the hoops giving game, I don't know enough about Ohio State right now to have a really strong opinion about them. What I do know is their past. Oh, there he is. Well, Kevin, hang tight, buddy. We'll get you in a second. What I do know is they are, they've had success in the past. They're from the Big Ten. So that to me is enough to take them seriously. If I had to ask, if you had to ask me where I would say on my feeling on it, it feels a lot like the Nebraska matchup in Holiday Hoops given a couple of years ago. So I do expect Auburn to win it, but I'm still excited for it. It's a big name, right? So we'll get excited for it. All right, let's get our friend in here. We're getting close to the end of the show time anyway, so let's go ahead and say hello to him. I think he's ready. He may not be. He's getting his hat on. All right, in 3, 2, Kevin, what's going on, buddy?
Kevin Jarquez Hunter.
Hey, Kevin Jarquez. I need you to write it down there in the bottom, buddy. Kevin Jarquez Hunter. Hey, sorry I missed you down there in the chat. I saw you in a little bit earlier, and I meant to bring you on, and I got talking about 1,000 things, so my apologies. So, but you're here now, so what's up?
I think Cam Coleman will score 5 touchdowns against Arkansas.
Well, if he's healthy. I don't know that he's 100% ready to go yet, but I would love nothing more because that'll put Arkansas away really quickly.
Yeah. And
got to get better, though.
Jarquez Hunter will have 100 rushing yards.
I feel much better about that prediction after last week. He's doing a good job with what he's been given to run with so far this season, and finally had one of those games that we've been waiting for him to have.
Hank Brown did good.
Yeah, he did. Did very well. Want to see what he can do against an SEC defense, but I think what you can definitely say about Hank Brown is he has met expectations and then some in what he was supposed to.
We got recruits coming too Saturday.
Yep, we got recruits. I think we've got recruits coming every week.
Yeah,
but I think there's probably more this weekend.
That Croma.
Oh, yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he's probably going to be here.
And I think Deuce not be there next Saturday for the Oklahoma game.
I would imagine that's going to be a big recruiting game because that's a cool matchup. The first time Oklahoma has ever come to Auburn.
Yeah.
I'm excited to go to that one.
And I think our wide receivers will do good Saturday too.
So other than Cam Coleman, who do you think is going to have the best wide receiver game for us?
Number 3.
Number 3, Perry Thompson?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Give him Perry Thompson.
Number 5,
Keandre.
Yeah, Lambert Smith.
Yes. I see. That's who I thought you would predict because I think he's probably your best bet. He's got
Fairweather.
Fairweather too. He's an option as a tight end. I want to see him get going a little bit more than he has been. It was great to see him get going this week.
And that 5-star recruit, he committed to Alabama.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. So we'll see. I'll tell you this, Kevin, I don't really worry too much about the guys who are currently committed elsewhere because they very rarely, I didn't talk about all of the different ones that are committed. They very rarely flip when you talk about numbers and stuff. So if it happens, it happens. It's great to have him here.
I think
builds a lot about hype.
I think if we can beat Arkansas's butt, Kayla, you will see a flip coming too.
Well, I love your optimism, and I hope you're right on that one. But I don't know that that's going to be a high possibility. But you never know, right? That's why they come.
I can't wait. KJ Lacey, he be out 2 or 3 weeks now.
He's been what, out?
He hurt his ankle.
Oh, in high school ball. Okay, yeah. I don't watch high school football these days. I just don't have the time for it, so I wasn't aware of that.
But I think he might still come to Auburn because Texas got Arch Manning.
They do have Arch Manning, but that doesn't mean he may not want to go out there and play behind him. So we'll see. I'll tell you this much. I'm very happy with who Auburn has on this recruiting class, and whoever coach brings in, I know it's going to finish out a very strong class in 2025 for us.
I love Alvin Henderson. He's our recruiter.
Yeah, did you see he had 10 touchdowns the other day?
He did?
10 touchdowns in one game.
Oh, my. I told Jeffrey Lee.
He said, oh, my.
I said, I can't wait him come to Auburn because he might be the starter.
He might be. Hopefully down the line, he will certainly be that. All right, Kevin, I need your score prediction before we go.
45-14.
45-14. You heard it here first. Auburn versus Arkansas. We'll see if Kevin's right. Yeah. All right, buddy. Thanks for calling in tonight.
I'm hoping we can see you November 2nd against Vanderbilt.
All right, let's put it down on the calendar, and we'll see you then, okay?
Okay, War Eagle.
All right, War Eagle, Kevin. Bye. All right, we got to hear from Kevin tonight after all. So good. If you guys, we're actually at 9 o'clock. So if you're in line to call, I will get you in. But if you're not, we're going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and close it down effectively tonight. Thank you, some of our regulars, for calling in tonight. I saw there were a couple other comments maybe I need to address before we get out of here. So maybe if you've got some rapid fire things at the end that you'd like for me to hit, go ahead and do that, and we will certainly do that rapid fire here at the end. Let me give you some updates about what you can expect coming up next. And I'll have a lot of cue cards ready for you, and it won't be as crazy as last week where I had all the homecoming stuff ready for you to know about. But tomorrow night is the most important thing. Auburn versus Arkansas preview and prediction night. We do this every Thursday at 8 p.m. We are going to talk through, yes, eventually our score predictions. But first, we talk through things that you need to know about the game, the matchup. We're going to do predictions about offense, defense, special teams, miscellaneous things around the matchup, which will lead us to a more well-formed score prediction as a group. So keep that on your calendar. Join us tonight. That watch page should be available on YouTube. You can go ahead and hit that notify me bell, the like thing, like it preemptively. It does help us out, lets people know this is something worth checking out. What else do we have going on for you this week? We will have a live stream of Tiger Walk. We will have a post-game show after that from the mobile broadcast studio, aka the back of Kyle's car. And hopefully we will not have any visitors this weekend. If you want to know what I'm talking about, go watch the replay. It's not that far into it. So it's something else. I rewatched it last night, and I didn't come across as rude as I thought I did. Or at least I think. So that's two things. We will have the flagship show, WT, of what we do here, the Auburn Experience podcast with Austin and myself, live recording. While we have not confirmed 100% with each other yet, we haven't done some initial talking about it. It will likely be much earlier in the day, together from a special location, and be looking for that. I will also be in Auburn starting Friday for about a week and a half. We have some hopes and plans to do some other things from campus and special things that we may have access to just because I'm there, right? I'm not saying like we're going into the locker room or something like that, but I'm just saying like, pay attention. You just never know across all social media. If you're not following us somewhere, you need to be. Hit the link here in our description on YouTube. It'll get you everywhere, ways to connect to our content and to obviously our social media content. Yes, please do remind people to do that. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. Any other final thoughts, questions, comments, derogatory rebuttals? Watching the pass defense, honestly, some of the plays weren't their fault. Mendoza just threw dimes in impossible places. I agree with this, actually. And New Mexico's number 15 was playing like Julian Edelman. It's a very like niche comparison, but I like it. I am saying that the flagship Sunday show is likely going to be earlier than in the day. I do not know what time yet. That's why Austin and I have to confirm that we can do this together from a location, not his house. So we're going to try something hopefully this week and see how it goes. It probably will go poorly. It means we may have to redo episode 94 of the Auburn Experience podcast, but I'm excited for it. So with that being said, you guys enjoy your Thursday before game day weekend. Rest up, get ready. We got tons of stuff that we'll be doing from campus on Arkansas weekend. And with me being there for about a week and a half, we're going to do some even more fun things, hopefully. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for being here, being part of our little family within the Auburn family. Until I talk to you again, War Eagle.